We are in a pandemic. So many of us are plagued with the when I syndrome. When I have more time, I'll start my business. When I make more money, I'll start buying healthier food. When I build my confidence, I'll put myself out there. So many of us are waiting for the perfect time to start things. I know I have. But the problem I realized is that I was never really ready. I used to believe if I waited for the perfect time, there would be fewer obstacles in my way. If I waited until I was older, I'd be more likely to be taken seriously. If I waited until I had more time, maybe I would achieve my goals more effectively. But here's the hard truth. That perfect time may simply not exist. No matter how much you prepare, there will always be setbacks. There will be moments where you fall flat on your face. So many of us wait because deep down, we think maybe waiting will protect us. Protect us from rejection, from failure, from the embarrassment of putting ourselves out there and not getting it right the first time. Waiting doesn't protect you. It only delays you. Delays your growth, your progress, and the person you're meant to become. So what happens when you stop waiting? When you say yes before you're ready? For me, it started with a single question to my mom. Waist beads, a cultural adornment wrapped around your waist, is a traditional symbol of beauty that has been passed down through generations. Worn by many West African women, there's something I always admired. And as a young African girl growing up in America, there's nothing I wanted more but to feel connected to this part of myself. So when my mom told me she was heading back to Senegal, I begged her, can you please bring me waist beads and maybe a couple extra for my friends? A month later, when she returned, I was given my waist beads and I sold the rest to some friends. That was about it. At the time, it was nothing more than just a favor. I just loved waist beads in my culture and I wanted to share it. Or that's what it could have been. But then there was this voice in my head that said, what if it was more? The next time my mom traveled back home, I asked her again. But this time I said, Mom, if I promise to pay you back $100 when you return, can you grab me as many waist beads as you can find and maybe a couple extra things too? She did exactly that. When she got back, I ran to the car, grabbed her suitcase, went to my room, and without even thinking, I posted these pictures. Authentic African waist beads straight from the motherland. I picked out my favorites and I was looking through them. Suddenly, my phone started buzzing. So cute, I would love to buy some. What sizes do you have? I want to buy 5, can you deliver? I didn't have a plan, but I had passion, so I said yes to every request and I figured it out as I went. That week, I binge-watched YouTube and TikTok videos on how to start a business. The next month, I made my first business Instagram page. A month later, I found about pop-up shops in my city. Then, I even learned how to build a website. Before I knew it, I created what is now Sunu Body, an African-inspired beauty and wellness brand where I ethically source products from women in West Africa. I was only 16. I didn't know much about business, and I definitely didn't have much money, but I started anyway. It was messy, it was scary, it was definitely stressful, but it was also exciting. It built confidence in me, and most importantly, it taught me that you don't have to have it all figured out to begin. Within the last 3 years, what began as a simple love for my culture has grown into something I could have never imagined. That tiny spark, a suitcase of waist beads and a willingness to try, became Sunu Body, an award-winning company that has opened doors I never knew existed. I've been humbled to receive recognition, to share my story on stages like this, and to be featured in spaces that I only once dreamed about. But more than anything, this journey is still teaching me that growth doesn't come from waiting. It comes from doing. And I know my story might be different than yours, but that feeling of waiting, doubting, second guessing, that's something we all go through. So whether you want to start a business, pursue a passion, or take the first step towards a goal, here are 3 mindset shifts that helped me move from dreaming to doing, and I believe they can help you too. Step number 1, or shift number 1, stop waiting to feel ready. 2, learn to welcome failure. And 3, get out of the way. Shift 1, start with what you have. Starting out, I didn't have the perfect brand. I didn't have funding. I didn't have some 10-step strategy or pitch deck. What I had was a suitcase of waist beads, my school laptop, a phone, and a whole lot of passion, and I made it work. I didn't know how to code, but I knew how to open YouTube and figure it out. I didn't have capital, but I had $100, or at least my mom did. I didn't have a business plan, but I had a mentor who helped me turn my vision into something real. I did what I could with what I had, and when things didn't go as planned, I adapted, I learned, and I kept executing. That's what starting with what you have really means. It's not about having everything, it's about being willing to do something with what's already in your hands. And the truth is, you probably have more than you think. That little idea, that $100, that phone in your hand, that can be enough to get started. You don't need to know everything right now. You just need to believe that what you have is enough to begin. Shift 2, learn to welcome failure. There's a common misconception that just because you're working on something, it means you're being productive. But there comes a point where preparation turns into procrastination. We spend so much time trying to get it perfect that we never really get started. But the truth is, you're going to fail. And honestly, that's not a bad thing. Often there's this pressure to have everything mapped out, to know exactly where you're going before you take the next step, but in real life, it rarely works that way. The truth is, you figure it out as you build. You don't become an expert and then start. You start, and the journey makes you one. When I started Sunu Body, there were so many things I didn't know. I made mistakes, I lost money, I got overwhelmed, and yes, I failed. I didn't know everything, but I knew I wanted to grow, and that was enough. I learned through doing, through failing, through experimenting. So embrace all of the mistakes and pivots, not as setbacks, but as proof that you're still in motion. Because the only true failure is never starting at all. And lastly, the most important mindset shift, shift number 3, get out of the way. Here's the truth that no one wants to hear. Sometimes you're the only thing standing between where you are and where you want to be. Life will hand you 100 reasons why you shouldn't. You're too young, you're too old, you don't have enough money, you got bills, responsibilities, doubt, and fear. But at the end of the day, you hold the power. The power to shift, the power to move, to start. But to do so, you have to believe in your abilities too. You have to be your biggest advocate, because the world will tell you every reason why you can't. It's your job to remind yourself why you can. Life is hard, but you choose your hard. Running a company is hard, but so is clocking to a job you hate. Eating healthy is hard, but so is dealing with long-term health issues. Budgeting is hard, but so is being broke. Starting is incredibly hard, but so is living with the regret of never knowing what could have happened if you had just tried. So, choose your hard. I chose mine when I was 16, with a suitcase full of waist beads and a dream, And now I'm asking you to choose yours. Because the life you want, it's on the other side of you getting out of your own way. For the longest time, I thought I had to wait. Wait until I was older, wait until I had more money, wait until I felt ready. But every year that passed, I realized I had to start one day. And if that's the case, why not today? The world will try to convince you to play it safe, to wait until you have more credentials, to wait until someone gives you permission, to wait until someone who looks like you does it first. But going against the current means saying no to all of that. It means betting on yourself even when it feels risky. It means being the first, the example, and the proof. So here's what I'll say to you, the same thing I had to say to myself. Start now. That idea you've been sitting on, that business you've been dreaming about, that bold move you've been too scared to make, start today. Send the risky text, launch the page, post the video, ask the question, take the first step. Because the biggest mistake people make is waiting to feel ready. But the truth is, you've been ready. The best time to start was yesterday. The second best time is right now. Success isn't about waiting for permission. It's about believing in your ability to figure it out. Doors will close. People will doubt you. But when one door shuts, girl, go on YouTube, watch a tutorial on how to build a door, and walk through that one instead. Success isn't about waiting until you feel ready. It's about having the courage, the confidence, audacity, and willingness to take action, even when you're scared. You don't need permission to chase your dreams. You just need to start. Because the life you've been dreaming about, it's not waiting for that perfect version of you. It's waiting for the version of you that's bold enough to begin. So, I'll leave you with this. Why wait to be great? And you can be great today. Thank you.